So the topic what we have been discussing so far is coming under the mechanics of composite materials. So this, you have studied the mechanics of materials in the previous semester. So here you study the mechanics of composite materials. So this is divided into two branches. The first branch is called as micromechanics. The second branch is called macromechanics. So far, do you know which topic you were dealing with? The micromechanics or the macromechanics? Any idea?
I think macro, sir.
Okay. I'll tell you the difference between micro and macro, and then we'll decide what were we discussing. Okay. So micromechanics means you talk about deals with the properties of the constituent materials. Constituent materials of the composite. Constituent materials of composite. So what do you mean by constituent materials? Yes, anybody?
So the fibers and the matrix.
Yeah, constituent materials means the fiber, the matrix, and all those. So it relates the property of the composite. It relates the property of the composite with the property of constituent materials. Okay, with property of constituent materials. So here we talk about the properties of the fiber and the properties of the matrix. Okay, when we spoke about this elastic modulus of the composite, how did we arrive? So we took the elastic modulus of the matrix, elastic modulus of the fiber, and then volume fraction of the matrix, volume fraction of the fiber. So all these we took, and then we arrived at the value of the elastic modulus of the composite. So whatever we have done is, were we dealing with the constituent materials? Did we deal with the constituent material so far, the properties of it? Yes or no? Did we talk about the properties of the constituent materials to talk about the property of the composites as a whole?
Yes, sir. We discussed about tensile strength.
Yeah. So we discussed about density, we discussed about tensile strength, we discussed about elastic modulus. In everything, we talked about fiber and the matrix, correct? So we were talking about the constituent material properties to relate the property of the composite. Okay, so that is what we were doing. This is called as micromechanics. What is macromechanics? Macromechanics considers the composite as a homogeneous material. So here we don't talk about the individual constituent properties. We talk about the average behavior. Okay, we talk about the average behavior of the composite. We don't deal with fiber and the matrix separately. Okay, we don't talk about the fiber elastic modulus, matrix elastic modulus. Okay, so we don't talk about those things. We talk about the composite as a whole. It is considered as a homogeneous material. It gives the average behavior of the composite. So we don't talk about the constituent materials here, but we talk about the fiber orientations, not the fiber properties, but we talk about fiber orientations. Okay, we talk about ply sequencing. What do you mean by ply? What do you mean by ply? Ply means lamina. Okay, what do you mean by lamina? Yes, I want some interactions, please.
Thin sheets, sir.
Layers. Okay, layers. See, a single layer of the fiber and the matrix is called as a lamina. Okay, a single layer of fiber and the matrix is called as lamina. What is a laminate? What is a laminate?
A sandwich of these layers, sir.
Yeah, multiple layers of fiber and the matrix. Okay, multiple layers of the fiber and the matrix makes a laminate. Okay, so in macromechanics, we consider the composite as a homogeneous material. You take the average behavior of the composite. You don't take the behavior of the fiber and the matrix separately, and you talk about the fiber orientations but not about the fiber properties. You talk about the ply sequence to make it a laminate. Okay, the ply sequence which makes it a laminate. Okay, you talk about fiber orientations. What is this fiber orientation meaning? What is the importance of this? Yes, anybody? Why do you think the fiber orientations are important? Any idea? Yeah. Suppose this is x-axis, this is y-axis, and then you have a composite material, okay, whose fiber directions are in this direction, okay, and then you apply a load, okay, so this will have some behavior, okay, and then you have another composite whose fibers are in this direction, but still the load is applied in this direction. Will the behavior be the same?
No, sir.
It will be different, right?
Yes, sir.
So this is what fiber orientation means. This we consider in macromechanics. Okay, macromechanics considers fiber orientations but not fiber properties. It doesn't consider matrix properties. It considers the composite as a homogeneous. Homogeneous means what?
Of the same material.
Completely one material.
Same throughout.
Yeah, it considers it as a single piece of material. Okay, doesn't divide into fiber and the matrix. But we talk about fiber orientation. Okay, we talk about fiber orientation, we talk about the ply sequence and all these things. Why do you want to orient a fiber? Why
The
do you
reinforcement will depend on the type of orientation.
Okay, why can't we go with single orientation?
It depends on the load it takes, sir.
Suppose you have, say, you need to have 10 plies, okay, 10 plies to make a laminate, okay, 10 plies you use, meaning 10 fiber layers, okay, you use to make a laminate with some matrix material. Now, if all the 10 layers are oriented in the same direction, then what will happen? If all 10 plies are oriented in the same direction, means what? What do you mean oriented in the same direction? The fibers are aligned in the same direction. Okay. So
So
what
then it can
happens?
handle the longitudinal stress or strain, but when it goes transverse, it won't hold.
Yeah. Or in any other angle, the strength would be less. Suppose if you have a laminate like this, and then or you have a laminate like this at this angle, all the plies in this are having this orientation, say this is the angle, okay, and you load it this way, what will happen? It will not be able to withstand much. This will be able to withstand because the fiber and the load is acting in that particular direction itself, okay, in the same direction. But here the directions are not the same, okay, this is at an angle and this is at some angle with respect to the fiber direction. So because of this, what happens? Suppose you want to use this laminate in some application, okay, where you come across some combined loading. Then what happens? If you have each layer of different angle, say a layer apply at 0 degree, apply at say 30 degree, apply at 60 degree, apply at say 90 degree, and then say at 45 degree, and then say at minus 45 degree, okay, minus 60 degree, okay, and so on. Suppose you have all these layers of plies, then what is the advantage that you get? What is the advantage that you're going to get? If you make a laminate of these angles, okay, just for example I've given some angles, okay, so what will be the advantage when you use that laminate for some application? Yes, hello, what will be the advantage of having different angles of plies in a laminate?
It can
If you
handle
apply
any load
load
in any
in
direction.
any direction, isostrain condition is
Okay, you don't get an isotropic material, okay, you don't get an isotropic material, but still it will be able to handle the loads acting in different directions, okay. Suppose there's a bending load, there's a shear load, there's a tensile load, there's a compressive load, okay. So different loads requires different um, angles, fiber orientations for it to withstand, okay. So you choose this, what angles you're supposed to use, you choose, okay. So every laminate, mostly in a composite material, is made up of different fiber orientations, okay. What do you mean by sequence? Sequence means in which order you keep these angles in, okay. When you make the laminate, how do you make a laminate? You can use hand layup method, vacuum bagging, and all those, okay. So when you make it, you cut the fiber and keep the fiber in that particular angle, say 30 degree. Okay, so how do you keep this? It is like a cloth material. Okay, the fiber is like a cloth, so that you can use a protractor, fix the angle, and then place it. Okay, so the fiber will be in that particular angle. So you orient all the fibers in these particular angles. Then what you're doing is you're designing a laminate. Okay, you're designing a laminate to withstand the particular kind of loads that you're going to apply on the laminate. Okay, so what should be this orientation? How do I arrive at these values? Okay, whether I should go for 0, 30, 60, 90, 45 or 0, 45, 60, 45, 60, 90. So what should be this? Okay, this is what we will be studying. Okay, we will be studying what should be this fiber orientation and what should be the ply sequence. Okay, in which once I decide upon some angles, how do I sequence them for the to make the laminate? Okay, so depending upon the application that is required, this changes. Okay, the design changes. So this is what you'll study in macro mechanics. So far what you have been studying is micro or macro all these days. All these days, what did you study?
Micromechanics, sir.
Micromechanics. Okay. All these days you studied micromechanics because you spoke about
Properties of matrix and fiber.
materials. Okay. You spoke about the properties. You spoke about the properties of the constituent materials. That is why it comes under micromechanics. If you consider it as a homogeneous material, you consider it as macromechanics. Okay. In macromechanics, the important things that you do is fiber orientations and then ply sequencing. Okay, these are the two things that you do to design a composite laminate, and this is very important if you have to design a composite laminate for some application. Okay, so it's a very important concept that you need to understand. You cannot have some random angles, you cannot have some random sequencing. Otherwise, what will happen if you do something randomly and develop a laminate, it may not suit for that particular application of loads. Okay, so to make that laminate suitable to withstand that particular orientation, okay, so you need to have a theory based on which you arrive at all these things. Okay, so what do you do in mechanics of materials? The same thing you do it in mechanics of composite materials. Okay, so what do you do in mechanics of materials? You talk about stress strain relations and all these things, right? So here also we talk about those things so that we get to know what is the stress acting on the composite material. So for this particular laminate and all those. So before we go into the macro mechanics of a laminate, what we'll do is we will talk about macro mechanics of a lamina. Okay, before we talk about laminates, we talk about lamina first. Okay, so it will take few days to understand the macro mechanics of a lamina, few classes, and then we will proceed to the laminate. So initially we start discussing about macro mechanics concepts for a lamina and not for a laminate. Okay, so there is some difference here. lamina is a single ply, okay, single layer of fiber in the matrix. So we are going to talk about a single layer and not a laminate, okay. So macro mechanics of a lamina. Now, before we talk about composite materials, if we take a piece of isotropic material, okay, take an isotropic material, and if you want to find the stress strain relation, okay, stress strain relation, what do? What do you do if you want to find the stress strain relation for an isotropic material? Yes, you have studied mechanics of materials. Please answer all these questions.
You apply load, sir.
You apply load, okay. How do you arrive at a relation with stress and strain? What is the relation stress and strain?
Stress is directly proportional to strain.
Complete it.
Within the elastic limit.
Yeah. So what law is that?
Hooke's law.
Hooke's law. Okay. So that is what I've been asking. Okay. So that is the Hooke's law you apply. You get these stress strain relations. Now, suppose you want, what is the difference between strength and stiffness?
Strength is a resistance to any form of deformation, whereas stiffness is the resistance to bending, sir.
Okay, resistance to any deformation is strength.
Yes, sir.
This is only for bending.
So mostly it is it resists bending. Stiffness is the property to resist bending.
That is bending stiffness. Okay, how do you know if a material is strong? Which parameter tells us if the material is strong?
Strength.
Modulus of elasticity.
Modulus. Modulus of elasticity tells us whether the material is strong.
Strength, sir.
And
Yeah, strength, strong, same, right?
Tensile strength.
Yeah. So yield stress defines what? The strength of the material. Correct? Yes or no?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yield stress defines the strength of the material. What defines stiffness?
Elastic deformation.
Elastic modulus. Elastic modulus defines stiffness, and also the shape, the geometry, okay, defines stiffness. Now, what is this strength and stiffness difference? The resistance to fracture, okay, the resistance to fracture is called as strength. The resistance to elastic deformation is called stiffness, okay. So if a material is able to withstand elastic deformation, that means the material is stiff, okay. If the material is able to withstand and not undergo fracture, the material is strong, okay. What is the opposite of strong? Yes.
Weak, sir.
What is the opposite of stiff?
Rigid.
Brit-
What is the opposite of stiff? Stiff.
Rigid,
Brittle.
sir.
Rigid.
Sir, brittle, sir.
So flexible, sir.
Flexible.
Flexible.
Okay. Okay. Flexible. The opposite of stiffness is flexible. Opposite of strength is weak. Okay. So do you understand the difference between strength and stiffness? So strength depends on this. Yield stress. Stiffness depends on elastic modulus and the shape, geometry. Okay. So if you have to arrive at the strain stress relation, okay, strain stress relation, that is, if I write it as epsilon x, epsilon y, gamma xy is equal to some matrix here, okay, I'm considering a 2D plate, okay, so sigma x, sigma y and tau xy here, okay. So what will be this one? For isotropic material, how do you find this matrix here? Any idea?
Inverse of matrix.
No, what relates this with this? Okay, what relates? Yeah, inverse is right, but what is the relation between this matrix and this matrix? This is a strain matrix. This is the stress matrix. Okay, strain is equal to what? 1 by E into sigma. Correct? Yes or
For
no?
isotropic, E is same, no, sir.
Yeah. For isotropic material only, I'm asking. I'm talking about isotropic only. Okay. I'll come to the composites a little later. So can we use this relation? Can we use this relation? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Suppose you take a material, you load it in the x direction. Okay, you apply some stress. Okay, what will be the strain in the x direction? It will be
1 by EX into sigma.
sigma x by E.
sigma x by E. Okay, what will be the strain in the y direction?
Minus mu sigma x by E.
Everybody understands this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's nothing but the Poisson's ratio. Okay, suppose you take another case where you apply the load like this, sigma y. Okay, what will be epsilon y equal to? Sigma y by E. Okay, what will be epsilon x? Minus nu sigma y by E. Correct?
Sigma X by E, sir.
I am applying a stress in the y direction, right? This is the second case. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
It will be sigma y by E. In the first case, this is first case. This is second case. Okay. First case I have written here. Second case I have written here. Okay. First case is this. Sigma x, sigma x. Okay. Second case only sigma y is acting. Sigma y, sigma y. Okay. Okay. How do I fill this now? How do I fill this? What is epsilon x totally? Suppose if, have you heard of the principle of superposition? Have you heard of principle of superposition? What does it say? Hello. See, I took a isotropic material, a plate, okay, and applied a load in the x direction. This is case 1. Case 2, I took the same material, I applied a stress along y direction. This is case 2. Okay. In case 1, epsilon x was equal to sigma x by E, and then epsilon y was equal to minus nu sigma x by E. In the second case, epsilon y was sigma y by E, and epsilon x was what? Minus nu sigma y by E. Okay. I take a third case. Okay, this is case 3. I apply only the shear. Okay, apply only the shear. So what will be gamma xy equal to? I am applying a shear stress tau. Hello.
Yes, sir.
What is the relation between shear strain and shear stress?
Shear strain is equal to shear stress by rigidity modulus.
Okay, tau xy divided by g. Correct? Is this correct?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Now what I do, I combine all these things. Okay, case 1 plus case 2 plus case 3. What it is? I have a load in x direction. Okay, I have a stress applied in the y direction, and also I have shear. Okay, have shear stress also. Material apply in this direction sigma x. So epsilon x would be sigma x by E, and then epsilon y would be minus nu sigma x by E, correct? And then I apply in this direction. So this is sigma y. So what will be this? Epsilon y is equal to sigma y by E, and then epsilon x would be equal to minus nu sigma y by E, and then I apply a shear, okay, shear stress. So it is tau xy. So it is tau xy. So gamma xy will be equal to tau xy by g. Okay. Now what is, if you combine everything, case 1 plus case 2 plus case 3, then what will be epsilon x will be equal to, it will be equal to sigma x by E minus nu times sigma y by E. What will be epsilon y equal to? Sigma y by E minus nu times sigma x by E. What will be gamma xy? Gamma xy will be the same. It will be tau xy by g. Now can you write it in a matrix form? Can you write this in a matrix form? Yes. Can you just try writing in the matrix form? What do you get? What do you get? If you have epsilon x, epsilon y, and gamma xy here, okay? So, and then you have a matrix here multiplying sigma x, sigma y, and tau xy. What do you get in this matrix? What will be this? Fill this matrix, please. Yes. Please fill this matrix.
Sigma x by E minus mu sigma y by E.
Sigma x is already there. Okay. I'll put it as 1 by E, correct? Minus nu by E. This is 0. This would be minus nu by E. This will be 1 by E. This will be 0. This will be 0, 0. This will be 1 by G. Is this correct? Is this correct? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes,